if someone's gonna put a 3-hour show on for me, I'm not gonna complain that they don't sound like they did in 1987.
Welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion, episode number 520. My name is Brando. Welcome back to the podcast. Carla Harvey, how are you?
Hi, how are ya?
I'm doing all right. I don't expect you to remember the last time you were
No, I
on.
remember because I love Guns N' Roses. So anything dedicated to Guns N' Roses, I obviously enjoy.
All right, cool. I'm just one of those. I'm like, they never remember. So, thank you. You look exactly the same as many 100 episodes ago. So, before we get into the violent hour with Charlie, who I understand was going to join us, but I mean the guy is wearing so many different hats, going so many different places. I was amazed I was going to get both of you, but I'm happy with. I don't know if I could
Yeah,
have handled.
he might get home in time to pop in.
Okay, yeah, no worries. I'm obviously happy to talk to you because last time it's before we get into the violent hour, it's a nice little segue. For those who remember, you told a very funny story about meeting Axl Rose,
I did.
and
Did I tell this? Did I actually tell the story?
yeah, about when he saw
Oh
your
God.
shirt, when he saw your shirt, and
Yeah.
commented
Yeah.
on your, a favorable comment on your appearance. I don't know if you want to. We can just have tell people to go back and listen,
And I
but
almost had a chance to, sorry, I have like something on my lip.
I
This damn lip
I
gloss.
I always get
Um,
beard hairs in my on my lips, so no worries. Not your case,
I
but you
have
know what
so
I
much
mean.
hair, it's everywhere. Yeah, I almost had the chance this past weekend at the Black Sabbath event to finally get my Axl picture, but and everybody else did except for me. We were at a big after party and like we had to leave because our van was leaving, and then right as we're leaving, of course, Axl Rose goes into the party. But I did get to watch Side Stage this weekend, and I do have my Axl story that'll last a lifetime. So
So people can go back and listen to 208 for that story because I want it to be organic. But yeah, that was
yeah.
my segue before we go into the violent hour and everything else you have going on because it's I'm still buzzing from watching Back to the Beginning. I just did
Yeah.
a review episode. I watched the entire thing like 5 million other people did. I told the story because I have a 2-year-old boy, and I had to watch like the first half of it with trying to balance him who just wanted Baby Shark on the TV, and I'm just trying to watch, Anthrax. I'm like I'm missing performances because I'm changing diapers and all that. And I did the interview, the episode with a listener who went. However, you really got more of an immersed experience. So
It was
so please
it was
tell us.
incredible. And obviously I went to support Charlie and watched him kill two sets. And but being back there, man, it was just magical. And one thing I'll say about Charlie and I, it's like no matter we're both like fans of things still, which it's a magical feeling to still like get that excitement over meeting somebody. And I don't take a second of it for granted. The 13-year-old kid in me was like, oh my God, I can't believe that person's right there. I talked to Steven Tyler, got a photo with Steven Tyler. Ronnie Wood squeezed my hand and I almost died. I was like, holy crap. Like, how often do you get your hand squeezed by a Rolling Stone, But the coolest thing was that there was just such camaraderie. There was no ego anywhere. And I was just there as a fan, again, watching, my man play, whatever. But to see all these greats, like the greatest of the greats, and the camaraderie and just the love and the excitement to be there. It was really, really special. And it's something that I'll never forget. I can't even imagine what it would have felt like to actually play the show. Um, it was magic.
I mean, I mean, as you and Charlie spoke about it like that, or does he confine in you, or is it just kind of like, yeah, I played it, and you just kind of move on?
No, I mean, obviously we talk about everything. And also when you've been together for like 10 years, there's no words needed. I know by
That's
his
kind of what I
face.
meant. That's kind of what I
Yeah,
meant. So is it
like
just more looks, or you
yeah,
kind
it's more like I just know how he feels because I know him.
of?
So and he always, he knows me and how I feel, and he always makes sure that I get an experience that I want as well. But I could tell that he was just, it was I'm sure he's still on cloud nine from that experience. I'm so glad that he got to do it.
How are you, I guess, as a significant other? I'm just trying to think of when I'm nervous because I always get nervous for interviews, and my wife is just like, oh, you can do it, be supportive. You've done it before. You'll be fine. Are you, do you need to do that? Or since you are
He
both also
doesn't seem to get
peers?
nervous when he before he goes on stage. I think I'm more of like nervous energy. I mean, there's been times when he's been nervous, like before the Pantera stuff started, he was pretty nervous, and I was there with him for everything, and I helped him through it. I think that having your person just there on standby with you is very helpful. That's why I try not to like miss any moments anymore. I try to like go as many places as I can with him and just be a part of his life. I think it's important for your person to be there watching you during big moments. He just flew out to LA to see me perform with Lords of Acid, which was really cool. And he had a busy schedule that month, and I was on tour, but he made time to come see it, and experience it. And I was having a bad day. I was sick, and I was worried that the show wouldn't be good enough, for him to see it, that particular night. But I worked extra hard because he was there in the crowd, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just to have someone there that, is watching you and will be there for a hug when you get off stage. That's always a good feeling, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we see it as Guns N' Roses fans, keep it within the theme. You always see
Yeah.
Susan on side stage for Duff and Megan side stage, and
Yeah.
it's cool when you see that it's more than just awesome music, that it's a family on and off the stage. So
Yeah.
those are special moments, and I know
And
we could.
yeah, it's the huge thing, it's like it's again, it's family. We're just regular couples, and then we maybe do things that are, kind of out of the ordinary, but we're regular couples, and you need your person there. And you know, I I see some stupid comments sometimes of why is she always everywhere? Why not? He's gonna be my husband. We've been together for 10 years. Why wouldn't I want to be where he's at? Like being around the people you love, to me, that's the most important thing in life.
Do I, because you said it subtly, uh, do I ask when, is there a date being said, or is it just kind of like we're just common law marriage situation?
Oh no, it's this year. We're having a big shindig for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Mazel tov in advance. Good for you. Yeah, because Heidi, who helped set up this interview, just more than anything, was just glowing about how you two love each other. More than just like the projects talking about. And I was like, I love because we follow each other on Instagram, and it's just really cool. You don't often see that, and especially in the rock world where it could be fleeting. So just good people making awesome music. It's just it's a great story, and I know like we can live in the story, and I don't want to do a second review of the Sabbath thing. I do want to talk about GNR later because of
Yeah,
course
of
that's where we are.
course.
But this will be a nice segue into the Violent Hour because it's going to head to the Sunset Strip, and I know you can see where I'm going with this. But just your reaction with Ozzy when he's singing the song that Lemmy wrote, "Mama, I'm Coming Home." I did not expect to watch this show and cry.
Yeah.
I just hearing Ozzy talk and hearing everyone just get quiet, that whole stadium quiet, and listen to every word that he said and hear him. The isolated vocals, or now you can hear them online, and it was just one of those moments I will never forget as a rock fan and a music fan. So, where were you during
Yeah.
Ozzy's set, and how did you take that all in?
So there was a one balcony like just above the stage, on the stage, and I watched from right there. And Mama I'm Coming Home was definitely like, I definitely cried during that. It's because the first couple songs that he sang, it sounded like, you know, perfect. And then he made his speech, and then like his voice was breaking up so much live during that song. And I love that song too. I love that song from when I was a teenager. So and just the lyrical content of that song, it's just like stop. I can't.
I
It was
know.
it was insane. It was an insane moment. It was so sad.
But you know what? Let's pivot here. And I was gonna try to make the segue from Ozzy to obviously Lemmy, living in the whiskey, and then talking about your new video, and I felt like I was there. The Violent Hour, Hell or Hollywood. I mean, what a what a brilliant idea that I don't know if it's ever been done like that. You really give like a tour of the Sunset Strip into the whiskey, and I just feel as somebody I've never been, I felt like I was there.
Oh no, you've never been? Yeah, you got to go. So when I was a kid, I of course we all know I was in love with Guns N' Roses, but just the music. It was the first like Welcome to the Jungle was the first song that the hair on my arms raised up when I heard it. I saw the pictures of Guns N' Roses and I was like, it was so mind blowing to a Midwest kid. I mean, I still wear motorcycle boots to this day, and cowboy boots because of Axl Rose. My style, I mean, I was telling my friend the other day, I've like always got a flannel around my waist, shorts on and my boots on and a leather jacket because I am Axl Rose all the time. And I've never changed my style. Which is kind of weird, but um
I mean,
so
you're talking to somebody. My first changing your style. My first word was boopy. I was trying to say Snoopy, and I'm currently wearing a Snoopy shirt.
yeah.
So nothing's changed.
Yeah, but when you're a kid and there's always that moment when like something in life defines who you're going to be going forward. And I guess Guns N' Roses kind of did that for me. So, when I saw the Guns N' Roses videos back in the day, I knew that I wanted to move to Los Angeles. So in 1998, I drove my car across the country with paper map and, made my way to Hollywood. And then the very first day that I got there, I immediately went to the Rainbow to, and I was there probably every night of my life. It was a huge part of the reason that I went, huge part of the reason I stayed, and I wanted to do like an homage to those Guns N' Roses videos. Even the song itself, when I was writing for the Violent Hour, I've been in an extreme metal band for the last 15 years, but I'm also a hard rock kid. And I wanted to be true to that hard rock kid. And Charlie, he knows I love Aerosmith. I love Guns N' Roses. So he wrote but in case anyone doesn't know that's watching, Charlie wrote all the music and played every single instrument on my album. And I did the vocals and that stuff. But he knows my taste in music. So he wanted to make a song for me that really paid tribute to my earliest loves. And so that's Hell or Hollywood. And while I was writing the lyrics, I'm like, I want to make a video for this song at the Rainbow. There's no place in the world that I can film it at. And I had this idea in my head for this video where this, Midwestern girl goes into the Rainbow to have the night of her life and she's partying with all these people. And then she looks around and she's partying with these rock stars who aren't with us anymore. So where is she? Is she in hell or Hollywood? Like, but it was so much fun. Full circle moment. I couldn't believe they let me film a video there because to me, when I was a kid, like Guns N' Roses film videos there. It's iconic, and I filmed everywhere there and even up in the lair of the Hollywood vampire where you know, insane people were up there doing drugs every night of their life. It was just such a cool thing for me to be able to do to pay homage to my favorite bands, but also to myself as a teenager and like my dream life. So it was such a cool experience. I threw a Kurt Cobain lookalike in there for irony because if you were in the Rainbow and Kurt Cobain was there, you'd be in hell because it's the kind of place he wouldn't be caught dead, right?
Right, right.
So
Well, I guess
yeah,
he would be, if he was dead. But right,
yeah,
yeah, right,
it's
yeah.
hell. But I loved making the video there, and the Magliaries are so cool. I'm so honored they did let me do that.
Y- y- I got to imagine they get a lot of requests to do that too, right?
I don't
Or
know. I
no,
mean,
because
I asked and they said yes. And like I said, I couldn't believe it. Um, but yeah, I feel so lucky this whole album process. I really do. Just to have John Five on my album, to have Zach Wild on my album, to have Charlie Benante do the music for my album, to be able to film these unique videos that I wanted to film. Like I have so much gratitude.
I also I gotta say right away because I always get names wrong. I think I'm mispronouncing Charlie's last name my entire life now. So it's Benante, and I've been saying Benante. Like I say it like a Long Islander. Like
Yeah.
I'm a Long Island Jew. Benante, Charlie
I
Benante.
don't want to be Carla Benante, so it's definitely Benante.
Benante, I like
Yeah.
that. You know, you sit.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have your pinky up while
Yeah.
saying
Charlie Benante.
it.
Carla Benante.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
But
It's
to go
very
back,
Italian sounding.
the more the names I can pronounce, like John Five and Zach Wild. So Zach was part of the Heaven or excuse me, the Hell or Hollywood video. How many people? Because you obviously have a ton of friends. Charlie has a ton of friends. You could have made this. I mean, it is almost like an all-star album anyway. But what made Zach and John the people that you called when I'm sure you have a roster of friends that would help you out?
Well, I was on a John 5 song once called Euphoria, so it's time for him to return the favor.
Fair.
um, yeah, no, and I just I that's Sick Ones, the first song that I put out. I wanted something really unique for the guitar solo, and John 5 plays guitar like no one else. And the solo that he gave me was insane. It's so cool, and it's like this it's exactly what the song called for, but I could never have pictured it before. So it's so cool. And then with Zach Wild, he's got that swagger that I thought would fit perfectly with a song like Hell or Hollywood. So, and of course, I toured with with Zach Wild for 2 months at a time, a couple times. Uh, we did some of our biggest tours with Zach with Black Label, and so I've known him forever. And of course, he's playing in Pantera with Charlie, so got a little hookup there.
Yeah, yet an in. No, that's cool. What were the challenges? I mean, well, you know what? Let me back up because you've been with Charlie for a while, both musicians. What made this the right time to put this project out? I mean, or was there any hesitation? Because they say sometimes don't work with your significant other, but sometimes that's good. So, was there any trepidation about working
Well,
together?
I
I
mean,
guess
I'm
all
not
that.
gonna say no to working with this brilliant person. It'd be stupid to not do it. But after I left Butcher Babies, I had a period of grief, and like, what am I gonna do next? What's next for me? Um, and I hadn't been like ecstatic for a while. Just life was changing, and I'm like, what's next? And Charlie saw how I was feeling and what I was feeling, and he started writing songs. And he's like, you're gonna do this. Um, we had done some songs together during the pandemic, some quarantine jams, but I think he saw that I didn't want music to be over for me, and that when one door closed, it didn't mean that something else wasn't going to open up for me. And he really did this beautiful thing for me by writing all these songs with me, and it really helped me like put one foot in front of the other and just like go on with things. So it's like it was pretty awesome. And we don't always agree on everything when writing together, but I don't think that we should. We're very different people, and we've learned to you know I I had to learn how to not be nervous about telling him how I really felt about something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Um, because I, he's Charlie Benante. Usually, most of the time, he's just my boyfriend, just my fiance, whatever. But he's also Charlie Benante, and he's a prolific writer, and he's worked with incredible people. And so I had to make sure that I didn't feel intimidated about my thoughts or feelings about a song. I had to make sure that I was like, no, I don't like that part. I like it like this. Or if he didn't like the lyrics I wrote for something, I'm like, no, this stays. I like this. So,
Okay.
a little back and forth, but I think it's good and it's healthy to do that.
Yeah, no, agreed. Because and what's that's out of that sometimes the conflict or the back and forth, the better idea comes. But
Yeah.
and to have that support from him is from your person
Yeah.
is truly Yeah, it's truly special. What about the vocal approach? Because it's certainly very different than the
Yeah.
Butcher Babies and
So that was another hard thing for me because I've been doing gutturals for so long. And Butcher Babies has a lot of singing in it too. We do a lot of choruses, but generally I would always do kind of like the lower harmony, and then the guttural screaming. And so I really had to like think about how I was going to approach these songs because I didn't want to shoehorn guttural vocals into a song just because. I wanted to be true to what the songs were and what they called for. And to be honest with you, I'm just I when you do the same thing year after year after year, you get kind of bored with it anyways. Like I've proven it. I can growl with the best of them. Can sing as low as anybody. Um, I'm great at it, and there's so many other things that I want to do and try, and so many other ways that I want to sing. There's a Loretta Lynn cover on this album. I do Portland, Oregon, and it's completely different than anything I've ever done. But I think that you want to grow in life, and you hope that fans and friends will want that for you as well, and will want to hear you do different things. But there's also in the back of your head, you're like, do people only want to hear me do gutturals? Am I only cool if I do gutturals? So it's kind of a mental, thing to get past that. But when I got in the studio with the right people, and the right and I started to sing, and I felt started to feel confident, it just everything opened up for me, and I started to try things that I've never tried. And I'm just, I cannot stress enough that I was so happy and excited for the first time in a long time. I felt so just free to be who I want to be, free to be who I want to be.
it comes across in the music, and it's almost like a not even like a new chapter. We are talking about that before. It's almost like a I don't want to oversell it, but like a rebirth and like almost meeting Carla
Yeah.
again because we knew you as not you're different, but you're showing another side of you. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, cool. She
Yeah.
can do
I mean,
this as well.
that Cookie Monster kid is still in me, you know what I mean? Like that's not going anywhere, but I loved so many different things growing up. I loved Pantera. I loved thrash metal. I also was obsessive about prog rock. I loved Rush. I loved Yes. I loved Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith and, classic rock and Leonard Skinner. So there's so much, and life is so short. You should be able to just like do whatever you want to do?
I I amen to that. And before we get into Guns N' Roses, and I want to talk about them at back to the beginning because I don't want to keep you here forever. I know we had a little bit of a downtime with the the technical issues.
Yeah. I
I
think I
should
have something at noon to go to. So,
oh so
so
I
like
will
13
be
minutes. Yeah.
I will be well aware. I gotta put one of those like Simpsons screens, like technical difficulties. I gotta or something like that. Um, what about just because obviously it's a band with Charlie, but did you ever think about just doing it as a Carla Harvey project, or is a band? Is it because I love the name of the band, The Violent
Yeah,
Hour.
and I do have a band in rehearsal right now. So
Okay.
yeah, because I've got shows booked at the Whiskey, which is really exciting with Buck Cherry and Michael Monroe. So
Oh,
I'm
nice.
super
Yeah,
stoked
yeah.
for that in September. So I have a band together. It's always been important for me to be part of a band. I don't like the whole like solo artist thing. I always, as a kid, I was infatuated with bands that all had their own character, and just kind of you fell in love with each person, just like Guns N' Roses. Anthrax even has that quality, they're all like, I always felt like if you could draw the character, the people in a band, that's if you can identify them by like the hat slash always wears, the flannel around Axl's waist, like these are
Hmm.
important things. And I love that dynamic. And I just always love the idea of a band. So I don't want to be, Carla Harvey project. I want to be the Violent Hour, a real band.
I love that. Yeah, yeah. Same. I use that as one of the reasons why I do a podcast about Guns N' Roses, not because they're my favorite band, but just like if you can tell the silhouette
Yeah.
of Slash, the silhouette of Scott Ian, you just
Yeah.
know these are identifiable characters. And
Yeah.
yes, I love that because that's what makes a band, and that's what makes you fall in love with the band.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, the band that's a lot all the posters behind me and whatnot, it was cool to be able to watch them, for me back to the beginning. So I guess where were you during that set? I know you said at the
Side
beginning.
stage, right next to Del James.
Nice.
He's we just went on a trip with Del James and his wife last year. A bunch of us friends went on a, so I got to know him a little bit better. We went on a big yacht trip together. Like I think there was like 25 people on a boat, and so that was really fun. But he's amazing, and he pushed me up to the front there so I could watch like first row side stage. um it was pretty crazy. Like there's Courtney Kardashian and her little baby right behind me, and me and Charlie are watching. Yeah, and you know, you can't wipe the smile off my face like watching watching Guns N' Roses. It's just so cool.
And it is cool. I guess as a vocalist, and I'm trying to avoid any sort of like clickbait that comes out of it. But it was like a not I want to use the word controversial, but just like a divided opinion among like fans about Axl and the way he sounds now. I'm just
You know what? I will say this. So I was on tour a couple years ago, and we played a show with Guns N' Roses, and they went on stage for like something crazy, like 3 hours. If someone's gonna put a 3 hour show on for me, I'm not gonna complain that they don't sound like they did in 1987. He puts on a great show. He's still running around everywhere. He looks great, and I don't know. I like side stage. The sound was great. I didn't hear anything amiss. Um, I I Charlie knows I get really worked up when people talk shit about X.
and so do
I no,
I. You're the right
I get so
person.
upset because I hate that people aren't allowed to like to have missteps sometimes or have a bad day.
Right.
I've got bad days. I was just on the road for 5 weeks with Lords of Acid singing, and I got really sick. And thank God everything came out every day, and I was able to sing every day. But every day I was worried, like, what's going to come out of my mouth? What are people going to think? It is incredibly stressful to be a vocalist, and I can't imagine how stressful it is for people to want to hear exactly what they heard, like I said, in 1987 all the time. And I think 90% of his vocals are still awesome. I think he's, and man, if your heroes are still out there, again, putting on 3 hour shows for you, 2 hour shows for
Hmm.
you, take it and shut up, you know?
That's been my basically. I've been saying I've been telling people to get bent, but I like take it and shut up as well. Because and he performed a 3 hour show the night before too, and to
Yeah,
do that. And you're right. I mean, that's what the Sabbath thing has really showed us, and this conversation has showed me just from whether it's a younger artist, I love what you're doing, like a new band, like I would call it a younger artist, new band, because it's the Violent
yeah,
Hour new, or like Hailstorm, and you're looking at Black Sabbath, Slayer. I mean, it's just all this great music. Everyone's hugging it. I forgot
yeah,
who said it. It might have been like Kelly Osbourne. It was like heavy metal summer camp. It seemed to be over there, and just watching it, just like these are all the guys I look up to and the girls I look up to. They're all friends. They all make
yeah.
music, and this is just there's no reason to criticize any of this because it's not the X Factor, it's not American Idol.
Yeah,
So
nobody got paid. Nobody got paid to do that, you know. So,
I know I'm not going to ask you. I know some band got asked, and I'm waiting for Sharon to say who that is.
yeah, I have no idea. I mean, well, I heard who supposedly who it is, but you never know through the rumor mill. But yeah, it's like everyone went there on their own accord, paid for flights or whatever to do it, and um I don't know. I feel super lucky to just be able to see the bands that I loved. And like I said, as a vocalist myself, I'm still coughing after being on tour for 5 weeks. And I know how hard it is to be the face of a band and be the one that everyone's gonna judge every night. It's very difficult.
I really appreciate your perspective because you know what you're talking about. It's one thing is coming from a fan being like, "Leave Britney alone, leave
Yeah.
Axel." It's it's another coming from you. So I appreciate your professional and expert opinion. And the Violent Hour, I love what I've heard so far. That's such an awesome tour that you're taking a part of with Buck Cherry and Michael Monroe, who just joined Guns N' Roses on stage for Bad Obsession. I
Yeah.
mean, they're all living their best life. Rock fans are
Yeah.
eating good right now. So, Carla, just thank you for your time. Thanks for the little. See, I have bad days too. I had a hiccup with my technical issues. Slur my words. It happens. But hopefully, at the end of the day, see, I just mumbled my words there. You enjoy yourself. So,
Yes.
Carla, this was a pleasure, and I hope we get to do this again.
Me too.
Awesome.
Thank you
So,
so much.
you got it. That does it for this episode of Appetite for Distortion. When will we see the next one? In the words of Axl Rose concerning Chinese democracy, I don't know soon is the word, but you'll see it.
Thanks to the lame ass security, I'm going home.